Yo, what is going on, guys? TymeStopper here, coming back at you with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, in this video, we're going to talk about what is probably one of the largest 10x champion events that has ever existed for Raid Shadow Legends. So, let's jump into the video. Okay, guys, now I feel like I'm saying this more and more every day where I say it's the biggest 10x ever, and I'm not just saying that. They're coming out with some doozies lately, and the one we just got news of is going to be massive on a whole different level. Now, we already know that they dropped the promo code on us. If you haven't seen that video already, I'll link it up above for you guys. Just dropped it a little bit ago. There is a brand new promo code. Spoiler, the promo code is Spooky13. You can use that, but we know it's Halloween and we know CVC is coming. So we knew something was probably going to be up, but we didn't know it was going to be this big. So I'm going to pop it up there real quick for you. They're dropping a 10x for tomorrow, of course, during CVC, with 3 champions that are all void, and 2 of which are by far game changers for anyone at any point in this game. So first up on the 10x is going to be the only one that I have, and I could probably do without, but you know, they'll probably hit me with her anyway. And that is Little Miss Annie. They're going to put Little Miss Annie on the 10x. She is one of the hardest hitting champions in the game, but she is a single target champion, so it makes it a little more difficult to use. Obviously, the aesthetics on Little Miss Annie, second to none. She is a dope looking champion. Kind of creepy when you think about it. If you look at that heart, how it's beaten inside of there. Kind of weird, right? So anyway, she has attacks one enemy, will ignore 25% of the target's defense if the target has higher defense than this champion, decreases the target's max HP by 25% of the damage inflicted if the target has higher max HP than this champion. Will repeat a second time if the target has both higher defense and higher max HP than this champion. On her A2, attacks one enemy 2 times, plays a 50% increase attack buff on this champion for 2 turns before attacking if the target's under shield. Will ignore 25% of the target's defense if the target's under a shield buff. Places Perfect Veil on this champion for 2 turns if the attack kills someone, and fills the champion's meter by 30% if they do not kill someone. And then her A1 attacks one enemy 3 times. Each hit has a 50% chance of placing a heal reduction debuff for 2 turns. So Little Miss Annie, first one up. Solid champion, don't get me wrong by any means. Just single target champions are a little rough in this game, but she definitely has some uses in like High Doom Tower against some of the bosses and things like that. But she is not the money champion for this 10x by far. Now, next up is the man, the myth, the legend, Nekhret the Great. Now, this guy can be used on both offense and defense, and if you've had to face this guy in arena, you know he is super annoying on defense, mostly because he gets to put up this move, one of his passives, before anyone gets a turn. So his passive places a block debuff buff and a 25% strengthen buff for 3 turns on the ally with the lowest max HP at the start of each round. Also places a 50% ally protection buff on them for 6 turns. The ally protection buff cannot be removed. So you pair him up with a Trunda or a Foley or some other nuker that's normally getting hit. He puts up the ally protection. He just protects him. Most people throw him in a shield set. Gets even worse, right? His other passive, whenever an ally is attacked while under the ally protection buff placed by this champion, places a shield buff on the ally equal to 30% of this champion's max HP for 2 turns. Occurs only if the ally does not already have a shield buff placed by this champion. So if you have him in a shield set, that won't necessarily really apply at that point. Also decreases the cooldown of this champion's Legion of Damn skill by 2 turns if the shield buff is placed. And then on his A3, he places the block debuffs buff and a 50% ally protection buff and a 25% strengthen buff on all allies for 2 turns, or 3 turns, excuse me. The ally protection cannot be resisted. Again, it's on a 4-turn cooldown, books to 3. It's on a 3-turn cooldown, which basically means it's up all the time. So if you try to face this guy and you aren't bringing someone to strip these buffs off, it's going to be a long, rough fight, basically, is what you're looking at. On his A2, teams up with allies to attack one enemy. All allies under ally protection buff placed by this champion will join the attack. Allies joining the attack will use their default skills. Grants an extra turn if no enemies are killed during this attack. Attacks one enemy 3 times. Each hit has a 20% chance of placing a 50% decrease attack buff for 1 turn. This effect cannot be resisted. Again, Nekhret the Great, awesome champion, both offense and defense in the arena. I mean, people have emptied their wallets just for this guy already on other 10x events. So with Little Miss Annie and him, and of course, the third champion, I see people just going crazy, right? And of course, the third champion is none other than easily the strongest, probably most broken champion in the entire game. Now, even by herself, she's broken, but when you pair her up with Rotos, it's just GG's, right? And that's because of her passive. Basically, she removes all debuffs from Rotos at the start of their turn if they're on the same team. So she basically cleanses him. You can't lock him out. You can't do pretty much anything. And you already know he's annoying, right? So her other parts of her passive, she's going to heal each ally by 10% of their max HP at the start of their turn. Has a 40% chance of removing freeze and fear debuffs from each ally at the start of their turn. Her A3, this is her revival skill. 6 turns, books to 4. Revives a single ally with 55% HP and a full turn meter. Places a 50% increase attack buff and a 30% increase crit rate buff on that ally for 2 turns. On her A2, this is the ability she's most known for, really, in Arena, because if you run her as your speed lead, she'll come in, she'll put this up, and it makes it very, very difficult to get anything done against the enemy team. So she's going to place a block debuff on all allies for 2 turns, then fills the turn meter of all allies by 10%, plays a 50% increased defense buff, and a 30% increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns. So you can use her as your speed lead. You can also use her in a very high resistance build as well to make sure that you can't strip this stuff off and you protect her. So there's a lot of different ways you can build her. Obviously, awesome base stats, great HP, solid defense, one of the fastest speeds in the entire game. And then her A1, this skill is basically broken. If you've ever had to watch her literally sit there and sleep your nuker, I've had fights where I accidentally brought the wrong nuker against her, and she will literally just sit there and keep sleeping my nuker, and I can't get anything done. I have all 4 teammates up still, and she'll just keep sleeping my nuker, and I can't kill her. So she's going to attack one enemy, has a 80% chance, 100% chance of placing the sleep debuff if the target's turn meter is equal to or above 50%. This debuff cannot be resisted. Heals all allies by 5% of their max HP if the target's turn meter is below 50%. So cannot be resisted. Basically, she can just keep sleeping your nuker all day long and you won't have anything to go against her if you only bring 1 nuker. So obviously, huge events going on for CVC. How nice of Plarium. You know, they did drop a Halloween pack in the shop the other day. Of course, I have the big boy pack, but you can get 30 void shards, 3,000 gems, 3,000 energy, along with some marina refills and whatnot for $99. I'm told there's a $10, a $30, a $70 version of this. It actually grades out as a pretty good offer. So if you're in the market to spend some money, you could do a lot worse than to buy this offer, to be quite honest with you. Now, obviously, you know your spending habits, you know what your budget is and things like that. So I'm not saying go ahead and do it. But I mean, I'm pretty sure I have to pull for this. I have every single Void Epic. There's no reason. I don't have a Nekhret and I don't have Siphi. So I'm pretty sure I have to pull shards for this. So let me know, guys, are you going to be pulling shards for this? I mean, I think that the community is going to go nuts. I think you're going to see people just freaking wail out to a different level for this. And I mean, it might make for a pretty nutty CVC, especially since we got personal rewards coming up in this CVC. But guys, let me know in the comments down below. Are you going to be pulling for this? Are you going for Siphi? Are you going for Nekhret? Are you going for Little Miss Annie? Or do you want any one of them? Do you not care? But guys, that's about it for me. I do want to thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video, and as always, until next time, be good.